Frag Attack Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another episode of Frag Tag Radio. Here with you today is your boy, Pradius. First, got to get those shout-outs out there. Of course, Appy Gamer. Appy makes you happy. That's on Android, iOS, Windows 8, pretty much anywhere you can think about. Then, of course, Game On. Shouts to Troy on iOS and Windows Phone. And then, of course, Game RSS. Filter Gaming News and Reviews. Tons of great apps, of course, that we're partnered with. You can catch us on any of those apps, as well as fragtagradio.com, where you can get that episode 15 seconds before it goes up anywhere else. In addition to, of course, YouTube, Twitter at fragtagradio, Facebook, anywhere, the usual. Pretty much just find us anywhere on the internet. If you've got an internet connection, data plan on your phone, you can access. With that, I've been playing a lot of Warframe lately. Now, as most of y'all know, me, J-Ray, matter of fact, we've been spending a lot of time playing Destiny for the past months. And, I have to admit, I was frustrated with that game many, many times, but yet I still kept playing it. So obviously I must have been enjoying myself, or I would have stopped a long time ago. That being said, I recently, about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, reached a point where I was like, you know what? I'm tired of Destiny. It's time for a change. I need at least to take a break from Destiny for a little while. So, just started looking around on the Xbox store for something new, and saw the Warframe on there, and I remember that I had downloaded it when it first, went on the store because it was free to play, and I'd actually had a couple of my Destiny friends who I play with who had told me about Warframe, said that the games were similar in a lot of ways. So I was like, let me give this a shot, give Warframe a shot, check it out. And to my surprise, it is a terrific, awesome game. I would venture to say I've been enjoying myself with Warframe even more so than I ever did with Destiny. Why? Because, well, the RNG isn't broken. You're actually, constantly being rewarded with meaningful rewards, and whenever you do a mission, you don't feel gypped or cheated at the end, which is a common feeling when playing Destiny, unfortunately. Now, of course, there's some big differences. Warframe is third person, whereas Destiny is first person. Destiny is pretty much just a shooter, whereas Warframe's got the shooting as well as the melee combat as well. Warframe's also a lot more faster paced than Destiny is, in the sense that you can run, slide, jump, parkour off walls, do all sorts of crazy stuff. And there are so many different Warframes, which Warframes pretty much act as the classes of the game to choose from. I would say there's at least 20 Warframes up there, if not more. And you could constantly be unlocking, new Warframes as you're playing. And you don't have to, like on Destiny, you can have up to 3 characters or 3 classes, or you can make them all the same class like I did, Hunter, to make it easier. But you would have to go to change character, pretty much go back to the menu, switch your character, then get back into the game, back into orbit, then choose mission. With Warframe, all you have to do is anytime you're in your ship, you can go to your arsenal in the back of the ship and change out your Warframe right along the same way you would switch out your main weapon, secondary weapon, melee weapon. It's really easy to do, fast. You don't have to back out all the way to the main start screen to do it, which is really awesome. Now, it's a free-to-play game, so I know a lot of people are, kind of wary about free-to-play games because microtransactions usually run rampant in games like that. And free-to-play is often called pay-to-win by a lot of people because, honestly, a lot of games that are like, they claim to be free-to-pay, but if you want to do anything meaningful in the game, you pretty much do have to pay. But I'm glad to say that's not the case with Warframe at all. Anything in the game that you can obtain with platinum, which is the currency that you buy with real money, is also obtainable through gameplay or with credits, which is the money that you earn by simply playing the game. You start out with 2 Warframe slots, and you can have up to 2 Warframes. And beyond that, you do have to pay. I think it's 20 platinum for another Warframe slot, which you can get 75 platinum for $5, 375 for $20. So now that being said, you don't ever have to get more than the 2 free slots that come with the game. If you get 2 Warframes, both of them maxed out to rank 30. You can delete one of them if you don't like it, and then build another Warframe in that slot, and then start ranking up that one. But if you've reached to the point where you've got 2 Warframes that you really, really like, and you'd like to have a third one as well, or a fourth, or a fifth, or so on, you can. It's a 12 to 20 platinum. I think it's 12 for weapon slots, 20 for Warframe slots. And start building up new Warframes, play around with, and level up. Now, another cool thing is just the depth of Warframe. Not only is there 10 times more planets than there are in Destiny. I think Destiny has, 3, 4 planets? Mars, Venus, Earth, the Moon. So 4. And if you include the Reef, we'll be generous, 5. Warframe has a good 20 to 25 planets. Each planet has at least 20 missions on it, if not more. And they can be played, multiple times over and over again. There's different types of the missions. You've got defense, which is like a horde/survival mode, wave-based play. You've got infestation, another mode where you have to guard these diggers, where they try and dig up relics, or in your case, the game playing rewards. There's PvP on there, which I haven't really dove too much into the PvP aspect of Warframe yet, so I won't really touch on that. But any guns you get, you can upgrade them with mods, and when you're playing the game, you'll see these things drop on the ground, which are mods, and you'll be picking up mods constantly while you're playing. Once you've put a mod into a weapon, say your primary weapon, my favorite primary weapon is the Soma Prime, which if you're a Destiny fan, that's pretty much like the Suros regime of Warframe. It's an auto rifle, and it is super awesome. But when you first get it, it's it's good, but it's not great because it doesn't have any mods in it. To make any gun good in Warframe, you're going to have to use the mods that you gather through playing to mod into the gun and make it better. Mods can add different types of elemental damage like ice, fire, toxic, or electricity. Those are the 4 different types of elemental damage you can add to weapons. Like for my rifle, I've got a mod called Serration that when you max it out, you can get up to 185% more damage out of the weapon. And for the pistol, I've got a mod called Hornet Strike, which when maxed out gives you 220% more damage out of your pistol. And that's on top of the elemental damage and all the other stuff that you put into the weapons with the mods. So yeah, it's definitely really in depth, and you can't just upgrade the guns. You can also upgrade the mods that you put in guns as well. So you'll be constantly upgrading guns, Warframes, mods for your guns, mods for your Warframes. Right now, the Eyes of Blight event is going on, which is an Arcwing event. And the Arcwing adds a totally new aspect of gameplay to Warframe, where you actually had this big wing thing on your back and you're out in space floating around doing like space type combat as your Warframe. And I think that's really refreshing to see games like that adding on not only new content through places to go or vendors or missions, but actual new mechanics, real new things to do, meaningful content. And being that Warframe is free to play, it's not DLC that you have to buy and add on. It's automatically added to the game through free updates. So, and I've only been playing for 2 weeks, but from what I've gathered from people I've been playing with and met, and from what I've seen in the 2 weeks, they are constantly updating Warframe with new content and just making the game better constantly. It's also so much more customizable than Destiny is. Like with Destiny, you've got your ship when you're in orbit, and you can put, whatever ship you get, that's the color of the ship. That's what it is, and it just hovers there in orbit. Well, with Warframe, you've got your lid set, which is your ship. And not only can you customize the colors of it, put different skins on it, but you can also actually move it around while you're in orbit flying to the mission, which is a small but subtle thing that I actually find myself doing a lot when I'm, going to a mission. I'll just move my ship up and down. It's like a dolphin going in and out of the water the way I. But anyway, tons of customization. Clans. With Destiny, you can join a clan, but you have to go through their Bungie.net website to actually join one. And then when you do it, the only way anyone in Destiny knows you're in a clan is the little tag below your gamer tag that says the name of the clan you're in, and that's it. Well, with Warframe, you can join and invite people to join your clan within the game. You can create clans in the game. Once you have created or joined a clan, you get access to that clan's dojo, which starts out as a small room with doors, and then you can actually customize the look of that first main room, in addition to adding hallways, additional rooms, additional floors. Your clan dojo can be multiple floors high. The clan I'm in now, I think our dojo is 4 or 5 stories high. We've got tons of different rooms, different types of rooms you can add. You can add different types of labs for studying blueprints for warframes, weapons, consumables, all type of stuff. And when you do that type of stuff in the lab with the clan dojo, anyone who's in your clan can contribute to researching these blueprints. And once a blueprint is completely researched, then that blueprint can be obtained by anybody who's in the clan. You just go to the dojo, go to that lab, pick up the blueprint. I've gotten 2 of my warframes, Banshee and Zephyr, which are both pretty cool warframes, and I got them both for free just by being in my clan. I think the blueprints cost me like 10,000 credits each, which is nothing. You'll get 50,000 credits per mission that you play. So 10,000 to 15,000 credits is nothing in the grand scope of things with Warframe. Also, weapons. I've gotten a ton of weapon blueprints from the clan dojo. You can have a clan bank that members can contribute to, and you can use that. You can challenge other clans to different type of things. You can form alliances and have an alliance with your clan and multiple other clans that work together towards common goals. There's just so much you can do with Warframe. So you can definitely expect me to be talking about that over the next few episodes, maybe even longer if I decide to stick with it. But we'll talk some more about Destiny a little bit later on this episode. But so I got a couple games that I've also been working on reviewing. The first was The Escapists, and then the second was Screamride. I'm actually going to start with Screamride. Funny thing is, normally to review a game from any game publisher or developer, you have to request it. Well, sometimes they'll surprise you and just send you a game to review, even if you don't ask for it. And I had heard about Screamride, but I've never really been too big into like Rollercoaster Tycoon, games like that. But they went ahead and I opened up my email one day. Here is your review code for Screamride on Xbox One. So I'm like, all right, well, that's pretty cool. So download it, check it out, and to my surprise, it's actually a pretty great game. Not the greatest game ever made or anything, but it's definitely fun, and it's got its interesting aspects. There's 2 different ways you can play. The first would be career, where it's like the campaign mode, and there's 3 different types of campaigns. You can do the engineer one, where you're actually building the coasters and going through career. The levels will start out, and there will be like a partial roller coaster built, and you'll have to complete it and then test the track and try and get the most screams out of the riders without them like flying out of the cart or derailing altogether. Which is pretty cool. The other one is the one where you actually, when you're playing as a Scream Rider, when you're actually in the roller coaster. Now, normally in real life, when you're in a roller coaster, you have no control over what happens. You just sit there and enjoy the ride. Well, in Scream Ride, there are these boost tracks when you go go over them. You collect boosts, and if you hit X at just the right time, it collects all the boosts. You can use it to make yourself go super fast. When you're going around tight turns, you can actually tilt the coaster off the track and go up on two wheels, or hit brakes on the coaster to slow yourself down if you're hitting a turn too fast. There are actual jumps where you get to a part of the track and there's no track there, and your coaster jumps into the air, and you have to time it and hit a button just right to make contact with the rails on the other side and keep going on the coaster. Like I said, it's pretty fun riding the roller coasters. I just had a lot more fun building the roller coasters and also demolishing them. There is a mode called Demolitions Expert, where you're essentially a catapult with what's called a cabin in the harness of the catapult, which is like a ball, at least when you start out. And there's, you got your two riders inside the catapult ball, and then you aim, and there's buildings and structures all around. And pretty much your objective is to destroy these buildings with the amount of catapult balls that you have. Like say you start out with 3. Well, by destroying buildings or hitting explosives with the ball and destroying multiple objectives, you could get an extra ball or rack up points. So no matter which mode you're playing on there, whether it's Screamride, Demolitions Expert, Engineer, it's all about racking up the points, getting the fastest time possible. I definitely would recommend it to anyone. It doesn't matter what genres you normally play. Screamride is just one of those games that's a nice break from the average games that you're used to playing, like shooters, role-playing games. Whatever your favorite game type genre is that you're normally playing every day. Even our favorite genres, sometimes we get tired of them, and we want to just take a break, play a little something refreshing. And I think that's where Screamride is going to fill the gap for a lot of people. Completing levels in the game, whether you're playing as Engineer, Screamride, or whatever, you unlock new stuff for the sandbox mode. Now, the sandbox mode is where you actually create your own tracks, and I believe you can share them online as well with other Xbox members and friends of yours on Xbox for them to ride, check out. It's very in-depth, but when you first start out, you've only got basic roller coaster parts. To get the awesome parts and build a really great roller coaster, you're going to have to play through the career mode and play through the Screenwriter mode career, the Demolitions Expert career, and the Engineer career. Once you've completed all 3 of those careers, you will have all the parts to sandbox mode unlocked. And the Coaster Editor is a truly in-depth editor. You can create some really awesome roller coasters. At the time of this review right here, I have completed the entire Screamwriter career. I have done about half of the demolition and about half of the engineering one. So I don't have all the parts unlocked yet, but even having done that much, I've created a pretty awesome roller coaster. You would think that something with so many parts and being such an in-depth editor would take some time to learn, and it does a little bit, but it's actually pretty streamlined. And there is a little tutorial that it'll walk you through your first time to show you how to do the basic stuff, switch between roller coaster parts to put on the track, how to connect things together. And you can go in and change other aspects of the roller coaster level too, like the background, the scenery around your roller coaster. You can make your roller coaster go through scenery objects. There's all sorts of cool things that you can do with that. So now, I haven't really noticed any multiplayer to speak of as far as Screamride goes, but I don't really think it needs it, and I don't really see how it could be done anyway. Aside from the sharing tracks with friends and letting them try them out, or trying out tracks that they've shared with you, because I mean, you can't, unless they put 2 roller coaster tracks side by side and try to have like a race to the finish. That could be something, I guess, but I'm not sure how fun that would be as compared to just doing it yourself, So I would say overall, 4 to 4.5 frags for Screamride. Only reason it's, just shy of that 4.5 to 5 perfect frag rating is because, well, one, there is no multiplayer. Two, while it's definitely got a lot of replayability, especially with the sandbox mode and being able to build your own stuff, um, it's definitely a niche title, and it's not something that's going to be for everyone. Some people are going to sit down, probably load up that first Screamwriter career track, play it, be like, and they'll either put it down or they'll keep playing. Some people might stop at that first track. Some people will keep going and play through all three of the different careers, get really deep into the sandbox mode. Some people may be somewhere in between. Like I said, it's a niche title, but for a niche title, it's really well developed, really fun. Now, the graphics aren't super amazing, especially for a next-gen console, but they are good. They're by no means bad. Um, the announcer is pretty funny. She's got some quirky little quips that she'll say to you at the beginning and end of the career levels based on your score and what you do. There's also different challenges with each career level, where like try and finish this in this certain amount of time, get around this turn without any of your people falling out of the cart or whatever. So it's got its challenging aspects too, and I believe you can ramp up. It gets a lot more difficult as you go along. But yeah, 4 to 4.5 frags for Scream Ride. Great game. If you're into that tycoon stuff, it's definitely going to be a must download for you. You should check it out right away. Now, yeah, if you're not into that tycoon stuff, there is a Scream Ride demo on Xbox One, which is pretty cool because this was always the case on 360. There was a demo for everything pretty much. But with Xbox One and the new consoles, it seems like there's been less demos this time around. But there still are, some here and there coming out. And thankfully, Scream Ride has a demo, free demo that anybody can download. Check it out. That'll give you the basics of the game, and you can see if it's something that you might be interested in. If it is, and if you play the demo and you think it's something that you might be interested in, I would say that definitely go ahead and download it. It's worth the money, especially if you like the demo. You're gonna love it. If you play the demo and you feel like it's not for you, well then obviously definitely don't download the game. But yeah, so 4 to 4.5 frags for Scream Ride. Next up was The Escapists. This would have been an arcade game on 360, but now we're on Xbox One, where a game is a game is a game. I say that because this is a top-down 8-bit game. If you're one of those people, one of those quote-unquote gamers, where a game just isn't good, if it doesn't graphically blow you away, well, then you're not going to enjoy The Escapists because it's 8-bit top-down. If you're a graphics whore, you're probably not on Xbox anyway. You're probably on PC or PS4 bashing Xbox fans somewhere. But that being said, I actually kind of dig the retro 8-bit art styles. So I was really kind of charmed right away by The Escapist and the whole presentation of it and the way it presents itself. So the tutorial of the game starts out sort of as a dream, but you don't know that right at first. It starts you out, you're in a minimum security prison, the most minimum security prison, and the tutorial kind of walks you through. Not holding your hand the whole way, but just about. And it's pretty easy to escape from there, very easy to escape from there actually. And then once you finish it, you wake up and you're in real prison, and it's day one of your sentence, and you realize that was just a dream, which I thought was a pretty cool way to do a tutorial, especially for a game like this. I also think that The Escapist is cool in the sense that I've never played anything like it before, where there's a bunch of different prisons and you're the prisoner in prison trying to escape. Now, my son has a game on his tablet called Hard Time, which I think this game reminds me of that a lot. So if you play The Escapist and you've got a tablet, I think it's on iOS, but it's definitely on Android. Hard Time might be worth downloading and checking out. But yeah, so The Escapist. Excuse me for 1 second. Yeah. So you wake up, and every day there's a daily routine. You wake up, you get out of the bed, you do roll call, exercise, go to lunch, do your jobs, which could be you could be working in the mail room, the laundry room, in the cafeteria, wherever, and then dinner, and then you of course roll call again, and then to bed. Now you pretty much need to stick by your daily routine most of the time. If you don't, you will get in trouble with the guards. But there are plenty of opportunities to sneak off and do your own thing. Now, one thing is the crafting in The Escapist. You can craft different items like a poster to put on the wall, just like Shawshank Redemption, to cover up where you're digging a hole in the wall. You can craft a shank, bunch of different things. You can craft zip lines, pickaxes. Of course, you're gonna need a pickaxe to do your digging through the wall. Um, the puzzles, I wouldn't call it a puzzle game, but it's got a lot of puzzle elements, and they're kind of challenging, but not too challenging. Um, that being said, The Escapist is harsh sometimes. You might die or get in trouble, and next thing you know, you've just lost 5 to 6 hours of progress. You can't just save anytime you want in The Escapist. You can only save when you go to sleep. So if you've spent 5 hours on a single day, or the last couple of days, and didn't save when you went to sleep, then you can potentially lose a lot of progress. So make sure you save every time you lay down and go to sleep. The game also has some light RPG elements in the form of your strength, speed, and intellect. Now, strength and speed you boost up by going to the gym, of course, and exercising. And your intellect you will boost up by going to the library, reading books. Intellect is what you're going to need to craft items. The higher your intellect, the more items you can craft because you're smarter. The faster you are, it's easier to get away from other inmates who might be chasing you, guards, whatever. The stronger you are, the more likely you are to win any fights that you get in. Combat is really simple in The Escapist. It's just a one-button press, and your guy swings his fist or the weapon if you have a weapon equipped, like a shank. So like I said, whether you win or not pretty much comes down to, backing around, dodging, and just hitting that button, and how strong and fast you are. Also, your intellect and strength speed points, they slowly decrease over time. So even if you get yourself maxed out to a nice place where you like to be, you're still going to have to hit that gym or that library every so often to keep those stats up, to be able to craft the things that you want to craft and beat up the people you want to beat up. Now, like I said, there's tons of different combos with the crafting. As far as the jobs, they're all very different. The mailroom, you have to deliver messages or mail to the other inmates. Sometimes they'll be far away, and if you haven't got your speed up, then you won't be able to deliver a message in time. And not delivering a message in time, that can cause problems for you. You can also gain the trust of other inmates by doing favors for them, like getting Mikey's comb back from Dave, or trading or getting something for. It's mainly fetch stuff, the favors. There's not a whole lot of breadth to that where it's mixing it up. It's mainly just doing favors, blah blah blah. But if you get buddy with an inmate by doing favors for them, then they're less likely to pay attention to you, giving you time to sneak into their cell, search their desk, or for contraband around their cell that you can use to help yourself further your escape. There are 6 prisons total. Each prison has multiple escape routes, so there's no one way to escape any prison. Each of the 6 prisons has multiple escape routes, and they get more and more challenging as you go. So if you're one of the type of people who don't like really difficult games, I don't know if I would suggest The Escapist or not. It's really cheap, so it's almost easy to suggest for anyone. And anybody can get past those first couple of prisons, but I guess it all depends on how you feel about finishing games. Because me, if I'm going to play a game, I want to finish it. If I'm not going to be able to finish it, then I'm like, why even play it at all? That being said, there are things to give you tips while you're playing. Like I said, beyond that first tutorial, the game kind of just lets you loose, and there's a lot of things the game doesn't explain, especially as far as crafting things. You just kind of have to mess around and try mixing this with that and see what you can craft. There's no real guide to what can be crafted in the game. As far as other things, yeah, not much in the way of tutorials. There are payphones around each prison, and you can use cash that you've earned or stolen or whatever to access payphones and get hints on what you could or couldn't do next. That's pretty much just to give you ideas of things you could do, not things that you have to do. Like I said, they are hints. So, even though there's only 6 prisons and it's really an arcade type of game, you can really get a lot of hours of play out of The Escapists just because, going through the daily routines, taking your time, making sure you get that escape right so that you don't foil the thing and have to start all over again, can take a good amount of time. It also requires a good amount of patience. So for The Escapists, I would say 3.5 to 4 frags. Closer to 4, just because it's a really cheap game and great for what you get for the price. But there's no multiplayer. I would say after you've escaped from each one of the prisons, unless you really want to try and find out every escape route for every prison, there's really not too much of a reason to play through it multiple times. Now, with that being said, those are my 2 reviews for the day. You got Screamride at 4 to 4.5 frags, and The Escapists at 3.5 to 4 frags. Both of them are good games. Screamride a little bit better than The Escapists, but they're 2 very different games. So whether you download one or the other or try out one or the other, that all depends on you. As far as a demo for The Escapists, I don't think there's a demo. So you pretty much either need to take your chances and download it or don't. Now, given that it's a really cheap game, it's not going to be that much of a loss if you decide to go ahead and download it anyway and take the chance and end up not liking it. And for Screamride, like I said, there's a demo. So now, back to Destiny. Like I said, I've been taking a break from Destiny the last couple weeks. I just got to the point where I was getting really bored. I hit a wall. I have every exotic gun in the game, all the raid gear, everything's maxed out. Just got really tired of doing the same thing over and over again, especially with the small amount of content that there really is in Destiny. Because when you take a look at Destiny, there's only 5 strike missions, a couple more if you're on PlayStation. Not a ton of guns. I really feel like there could be more guns than there is. A few handful of missions on each planet. You're going to get bored after a while with Destiny. It's a good game. In the sense that it's addictive. But once you become addicted and you've gone through and you've done everything there is to do and you've done it a million times over, you're going to hit that wall where you're like, you know what? I'm done with Destiny. And that's what happened to me. Now, that being said, there are plenty of ways that Bungie could breathe life into Destiny without making everybody wait for the next expansion or the big comet thing that's supposed to close the gap between Destiny 1 and 2, or wait until Destiny 2. There's plenty of updates they can do, things they can add to the game to make it 1,000,000 times, 1,000 times at least more playable. And I went ahead and put up an article about a week to a week and a half ago on the site of 40 things that Bungie could do to improve Destiny. I also posted this list or article on Bungie.net, also under the weekly update and the feedback section of the forum, and the response there was really incredible. Had about 2,000 replies on the Destiny forums for this list of 40 things. Tons of replies on our own website as well. Lots of responses, comments from people on Twitter, where I also tweeted out the list, or a link to it anyway. But just wanted to take some time on the show today to go through that list and share it with you guys in case you haven't had a chance to read it or come across it yet. So, number one, and now keep in mind that this list is in no particular order. I was just, put together the list of things that I've been wanting for a long time, things I've heard other people asking for a long time that I also think would be good. And things that I know would be good, even if they wouldn't necessarily benefit me. I know they would benefit other players. But yeah, so increase the amount of vault space to player. That's something everybody wants. We all want more vault space. We've all, especially collectors like me, where I've got every exotic gun in the game. My vault is full. I have 3 characters, which is the max number of characters you can have. All their inventories are full. It's pain in the but switching weapons between them. Now, that being said, they have recently updated the Destiny app to where you can switch stuff between the vault and the characters with the app on your phone instead of having to do all of it in the game now, which helps, but not completely. To do that, they can make the vault accessible from orbit. I think that would solve a lot of people's problems. Now, like I said, you can do that with the app, but I mean, sometimes we don't want to have to take ourselves out of the game, pick up a phone, and, I don't know. I just don't like losing it, taking away from the immersion of a game when I'm playing it. So, now a game like Destiny, you're not always immersed per se, especially with the lackluster story, but I just think it would still be good if they added an option to access the vault from orbit in-game. Now, I also think that they could add an option that let players default to the tower instead. Now, I've heard mixed things on this. Some people say there's no way they could do that because everybody would be defaulting to the tower and it would overload the servers. I think in this day and age, it's BS. They could do it if they wanted to. It may not be easy to do, but it's definitely something they could do. And you can agree or disagree with that. I don't really care. Increase the caps on Vanguard and Crucible marks. Buying one gun from the Vanguard takes 150 to 175 marks. You can only hold a maximum of 200 marks. So you buy one gun, you got 25 marks left over. What are you going to buy with 25 marks? Or nothing. So you can buy, it pretty much sets you up to where you can buy one thing per week. And you also have a cap on how much you can earn per week, which is 100 marks. So you can essentially buy one thing every 2 weeks. And considering the Vanguard has some of the crappiest guns in the game compared to the guns you get from the raid or exotics, etc., it really makes it to where there's almost no point at all to the factions. Now, they have recently updated to where you can check your faction rep and Crucible rep from the inventory screen, pause menu, anywhere in the game, which is pretty cool. I also think they could add a survival wave-based type horde mode to Destiny, just like they've done with Warframe. Warframe's done it. They've done it well. You get good rewards from doing it. I think they could do the same thing with Destiny. Add an NPC to the tower specifically for currency and materials exchanges. One thing about Destiny is there are so many different types of currency that it's almost just laughable. Because, I mean, obviously games like this have multiple types of currency. With Warframe, you've got credits and you've got platinum. Credits are what you earn in-game, platinum is what you buy with real money, and then you've got the ducats, which you can only use to trade things and get items from the Void Trader, who's like the black market vendor or the Xur of Warframe. But with Destiny, you can use black wax as currency. You can use glimmer. You can use strange coins. You can use marks, Crucible marks, Vanguard marks. There's so many different types of currency. I think they either need to tone it down or put a vendor in the tower specifically for materials and currency exchanges. They should bring back the Queen's Wrath and also add other PvE events. I am so tired of seeing the Iron Banner over and over and over and over and over and over. I think the PvP in Destiny sucks. And I'm sorry, Bungie. I'm sorry to those of you who don't agree, because I know some people do like Crucible. But the majority of people who play Destiny are playing for the PvE, the co-op with friends, they're doing the raids, the strike missions. I would say maybe 15% of the population, at least 15% of the people I know, maybe even less, play Crucible on Destiny. Crucible on Destiny just sucks. It really does. Especially when you compare it to Halo or Call of Duty or Gears of War or any other multiplayer shooter that's a million times better than the competitive multiplayer that Destiny is trying to offer. Yet, Bungie keeps putting out the Iron Banner events over and over and over and over and over and over, and yet there was one Queen's Wrath event at the very beginning, like pretty much right after the game launched, and we haven't had a PvE event since. I think that's stupid. All right, and I hate to be blunt, but it really is. I think it would also be cool if they added different emotions, taunts, and dances to the game that you could maybe buy from somebody in the tower who could teach you how to do stuff for Glimmer, like different types of waves, different dance moves that you could equip to your character on the D-pad. You already use the D-pad to do different types of taunts and dance and your dance or whatever. It would be cool if you could equip different types of dances and taunts to the D-pad and customize it however you want. So that way, when you're in a game and everybody starts dancing, it wouldn't be everybody doing that same robotic dance. People would actually have there would be tons of different dances going on. I think that'd be really cool. But that's just a small thing that could add to the game. Also, adding more ghost shells. To this day, if you didn't buy the collector's edition of the game, there's one ghost shell, the default one, the white one. And if you bought the collector's edition, you've got the red and gray one, the frontier shell. Or is it red and white? I can't remember. It's been a few weeks since I played. Anyway, but it's pretty much red, called the frontier shell. And that's it. 2 ghost shells. Yet, when you go to where you equip ghost shells, there's room there for multiple ones. And you could store them in your vault, too. So it really doesn't make any sense that there's not many more ghost shells in the game to where it lets you customize your ghost. I think that they should also make it so that you could customize the look of your ship. Like the shaders that you get for your armor. Let us use those same shaders for our ships as well, so that we can have our ship match our character. A lot of people like matching things. I know I do. Like in Warframe, I have the colors of my lid set ship matching the colors of my Warframes. The Gunsmith. That guy is useless once you reach wave 20. Or, excuse me, level 20. And he doesn't have to be. They could add a legendary weapon engram to him that changes every other day, every week, whatever. And you could buy that with commendations, Vanguard commendations, Crucible commendations. Now, commendations are something that you get every time you level up your Vanguard or level up your Crucible. Now, to do that, that's not something you can just do in a day. It takes a few days to even a week, depending on how much you play, to level up and get one commendation. Having a legendary weapon engram at the Gunsmith that costs 10 commendations, that would mean something. It would make it a place for where people would actually go to him after level 20 to buy engrams on the chance they might get something good, and they wouldn't be able to do it every day or every other day. It's something that would take a week or so to do, but it would be something to work towards, something that I think could add to the game. The ability to modify the appearance of our armor or transmog. Now, this is something you can already do in games like Diablo 3, where your base armor is the same. You're just changing the way it looks. This would mean a lot in Destiny because everybody is wearing the same set of raid gear. Everybody looks the same. Everybody's hunter looks the same. Everybody's titan looks the same. Everybody's warlock looks the same. By letting us customize the look of our armor, I think the game would at least look more diverse, and people would feel like they were personalizing their characters more. Making something feel personal is, I think, a big step to players connecting more with the game and making it more their own, feeling like it's their own, rather than something shared or borrowed. Now, next is clan support. Like I was telling you about the dojos in Warframe, they need to add something like that to Destiny. The clan support in Destiny right now is a joke. Period. You can also have a max of 100 people in your clan. I think that's stupid too. You can have plenty of people in your group, but only 100 people in your clan. I think that they need to up that from 100 to 1,000 because I've got 250 people, most of them you guys podcast fans in our group, but we can only have a max of 100 in our clan at any given time. So I would like if they would raise that. I would also like if they increased the number of people allowed on patrol. Right now you can only take a fire team of 3 on patrol. But patrol is just somewhere you go to mess around, do bounties, and chill out when you're not in the tower, pretty much. Currently, the only place you can go with a fire team of 6 other than the tower is a raid. I think they should up it on patrols as well, to where you could take a fire team of 6 on patrol and mess around. I think that would make patrols a lot more fun, and I think a lot more people would do them. Because right now, Since you can only have a fire team of 3, most people end up doing it solo rather than even doing it with a team of 2 or 3. They go in there, they rush, they quickly do the bounties that they got to do, and they get the hell out of there. You want people to have fun on patrol? Increase the fire team size, please. Let's see. Adding skill and level-based matchmaking to the raids Nightfall. They've already done it to the weekly strikes. I think that's pretty cool. Now they need to do it for the Nightfall and the raid. Now, I know somebody had brought this up to me, like with the Nightfall, if you lose, you get kicked back to orbit. So that would be kind of hard for them to add matchmaking to Nightfall. And I kind of agree, so maybe don't add it to Nightfall, but you could definitely add skill, level-based matchmaking to the raids, so that we could nix out sites like LFG and Destiny Team Finder. It's a pain in the butt using these sites, for reals. Ascendant materials, remove those from the Nightfall rewards pool. Can't tell you how tired I am of doing a Nightfall and getting Ascendant shards when I'm level 32. When you're level 32, the last thing you want to see pop up as a reward is Ascendant shards. It makes you want to smash your controller. It makes you want to break your Destiny disc in half. It's upsetting. Let's take those out of the rewards pool, please, ladies and gentlemen. An NPC to the tower that allows Guardians to change their hairstyles, face colors, tattoos, etc. Right now, when you first create a character, you can choose the color of your skin, your eyes, hairstyle, etc. And once you do that, it's locked forever. You can't change it after that. Like with me, I created a Exo, which is like the Terminator class or race, and I made his metal face red. Well, I found some really awesome shaders that I would like him to wear, but he looks really stupid when I'm walking around the tower with an all-white shader and a red face. It would be great if they fixed that to where you could change the colors and tattoos and hairstyles. Let's see, in-game codex for the Grimoire cards. Right now, only way you can access those is in the app or Destiny's website. Bungie.net. They need to make it so you can access Grimoire cards in the game. And in fact, when you're on a load screen, they should have random Grimoire cards pop up on the screen while you're waiting for something to load, seeing your ship sitting in orbit, especially since you can't fly it around. That's something that happens in Warframe as well. Not only can you move your ship around in orbit, but random mods pop up on the screen that you can read and look at. They should do that with Grimoire cards in Destiny. You know, and that would share more of the lore of the game with some people, and maybe people would get more invested in the story that nobody gives a shit about right now. Let's see. A trading system to Destiny. That's kind of controversial, but I think it could work if you were only allowed to trade legendary items and not exotics or raid gear. Now, some people don't agree with that. I think the other way it could be done is by limiting the number of trades per day people can do. Like, say, give each player 2 trades per day, and that you can only trade with characters that are above level 20. I think that could work as well. Level or a forge/map editor for Crucible. Bungie's done it before in Halo. They could do it again in Destiny. They right now, of course, you know they've got the daily story missions, the weekly strikes. They should add a monthly something together, maybe a monthly raid like Crota's End with modifiers on to make it super hard, but for really cool rewards. Or the Vault of Glass with modifiers on for really cool rewards. You know, once a month, and they switch it up every month. When this next DLC comes out in May, we'll have 3 strikes to switch between. So in 3 months, we've done 3 different strikes, and then you can start over again because it won't matter because it will have been 3 months since I last did this as a monthly raid. And as they add more raids over time, it'll become even more significant. Right now, Eris sells heavy ammo synthesis for 5 black waxes, and that's just crazy. 1 heavy ammo synth for 5 black wax. They need to change that from 5 to 1. 1 black wax for 1 heavy ammo synth, especially when you can spend a strange coin at Xur and get 5 heavy ammo clips. It's just, it doesn't scale out. Custom loadouts that people can switch between upon death. Right now, if you die in the raid and you want to switch up, you have to go to this weapon slot, pick this weapon, put it there, this piece of armor, put it there, do all of that. Why not just let us have 3 different loadouts that when we die, we could switch between them quickly? Especially it will work for Crucible too. Different maps require different guns for different types of situations. Some are close quarters, some are, more for sniping or long range combat. Those, quickly switch out loadouts while we're playing. I think that could go a long way to making things more fun as well. Then they need to permanently add heavy ammo synthesis to Xur's weekly stock. They just recently added or fixed where he wasn't having an exotic engram every week. That's cool. Now they need to add heavy ammo synth to where it's there every week. It shouldn't be me waiting till Friday. Oh, I hope Xur has heavy ammo this week. That's just, it's not cool. A big one here, an option to skip cutscenes. Everybody is tired of seeing that cutscene with the speaker where he gives that half-hour long speech. Everybody dreads it when that mission comes up as the daily story mission because we're going to have to sit there and we're going to have to watch it. Please, add an option to skip cutscenes. I know that it's got to be one of the easiest things that y'all could do, if anything. Budget, come on now. Let's see. An option to undo the last item discarded or dismantled. How many of us was, moving quickly, trying to get rid of stuff, deleting those green items, and we accidentally deleted a legendary without even realizing it until it was too late? Yeah, I think they should add an option to undo the last item discarded or dismantled for cases like that, because accidents do happen. And the last couple here, adding the ability to move our ships around in orbit like in Warframe. I think that would be cool. A capture the flag mode for Crucible. Every competitive first-person shooter has capture the flag mode, and Bungie evidently cares so much about the PvP and Destiny that they have nothing but Iron Banner events after Iron Banner events after Iron Banner events. Well, how about adding capture the flag there? Since you care so much about Crucible and PvP and evidently don't care as much about PvE. I think that could go a long way to making things happen. Everybody likes capture the flag, or most everybody does anyway. And every shooter on the planet has captured the flag except Destiny. Why is that? Some fun distractions, like maybe add like sparrow races to the game where we could have sparrow races with our friends, or a spot in the tower where we could have dance parties to random music that plays. Anything to distract from the monotony of the daily grinding the same missions over and over, I think would be cool. And lastly, adding spectator slots to fire teams. Lots of shooters are doing this. Halo 5's doing this. There are other shooters that do this as well. Where spectator slots, where a friend could join in on, even if your fire team's full, a friend could still join in and not play, but still be able to watch you play on his screen. If he's feeling like taking a break or he doesn't feel like playing, but he wants to watch, he could come in and spectate in one of those spectator slots and watch you and your fire team tackle the raid. That would be another great way to teach friends, people who are new to Destiny or new to this raid or this strike mission. They'd be like, hey, I'm about to run that raid. I'm about to run that strike mission. Just join in the spectator slot and you can watch me do the whole thing. And then that would be a great way of helping out players, I think. But yeah, so that's pretty much my list. If you want to see the full-on list, you can check it out on the feedback section of Bungie.net, or of course at fragtagradio.com. And with that, I think that is the episode for the week. I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me ramble on about Screamride, The Escapists, Warframe, and Destiny. There's also a new character in Killer Instinct called Aganos. I've only played with him a little bit, so we'll be talking about him next week or next episode, as well as I'll definitely be talking some more about Warframe as well. But yeah, so I appreciate you sticking in there with me. Y'all enjoy yourselves, and we'll catch y'all next time.
Frag Radio.